Radio Nova.
Seriously addictive.
6 nations, 2 Kiwis. It's the 6 at 6 podcast with Pat Courtenay and Brent Pope from Radio Nova and Nova.ie. Brought to you by the all-new Honda CR-V Hybrid. Honda.ie.
What are we going to do this week? We haven't got any rugby.
You just got me thinking when you... I was going to say, when you got the things in your mouth.
Yeah, okay.
But no, it got me thinking. I remember student pranks going back to university days. They used to go along. I don't know whether it was an old wives' tale or something. Somebody might know. They used to go along.
The lemon and the brass band?
Yeah,
the lemon and the brass band.
Yeah, sit in the front row with lemon and suck on a lemon because it was like trying to eat crackers. You couldn't eat too many of them. There used to be those drinking games. We used to try to eat 20 crackers or something, water crackers.
What? What's that got to do with sucking a lemon in front of the brass band?
It was just, was it an old wives' tale? Does it affect?
It works. If you
How do you know if it works? Have you done it?
Yeah. Well, not a brass band, in front of a brass player.
I presume it makes the mouth want to grab more saliva and then you can't play.
Choose
I learned the clarinet for a while, for a TV program.
You learnt the clarinet for a
telly program? I learnt the clarinet for a program called Instrumental RT, and I had to learn the clarinet over a 6-month period, and then I played Strange on the Shore with the RT Orchestra in front of about 2,000 people, live.
You're kidding.
I was never so nervous for anything in my life.
I can just imagine.
I was shocked because, the clarinet's a wind instrument, obviously, because, and then when you get nervous, your hands started shaking. I even do it now, and I couldn't get, so I was getting this, squeaky, but I didn't get one.
It just sounds terrible.
And it's actually, I know, we talked about wimpy music last week when you had your Billy Joel session, but Acapulco, and it is wimpy music, but I played it because my mother loved that tune.
What? Oh, Strangers on the Shore.
And somebody said there's another bit of I suppose trivia or not. Somebody said that he learnt the clarinet in prison for some reason.
Really?
Don't know. Probably never went to prison. I don't know. These facts I just can remember. I don't know who tells them.
When I'm on Mastermind next time, phone a friend, man. You're it.
Yeah, I'm in. I know all these trivia things.
Anybody have a clarinet we could borrow for maybe next week? Now that would be interesting.
I still have it in the house, and I tried to blow it the other day, and it was a disaster.
Yes, because the reed dries out.
Yes, I have all that terminology now. The reed is too dry.
Well, it's not you. It's the reed. That's all that is.
It's the 6 at 6 podcast with Pat Courtenay and Brent Pope from Radio Nova and Nova.ie.
Sorry, lads, I hate when DJs do that. I was doing something.
More true, yeah. I worked as a roadie for a day for The Cure.
You did not?
I did, no, without a word of a lie.
He didn't tell me this during the song, by the way.
I told you, and not only that, it was the same weekend I took Peter Noon and the Hermits down in my Volkswagen to a university bar called the Bush Inn, and they were singing in the car, Mrs. Brown's got a lovely daughter. There you go. True facts. Because I worked...
How did you roadie for The Cure?
Well, not a roadie, I said for a day. Because I worked as a kind of a bouncer in those days, and we set up all the gear. They were playing on the Saturday night in Christchurch, so I worked on stage, pushing people off stage, and that they got up to dance. And then on the Sunday night, Hermits came, and there was nowhere for them to party, so they asked me. So I said the only place that was open was the Bush Inn, which used to be a university bar in Christchurch. So they all four of them loaded into my Volkswagen Beetle, including Peter Noon, the lead singer, in the front seat, and as we're going down the road, they sing, Mrs. Brown, you've got a lovely daughter, because I requested that, so I dropped them off.
Oh, well,
that was it. Wasn't that great? Isn't that a great story? Completely the truth. You'll hear more of these stories when songs come up like that. But
well, exactly.
Anyway.
Quick spot of rugby.
Yeah.
Quick spot of rugby. Donica was on before.
Josh Smith is quoted this week as saying that Ireland are a bit broken after the England game, as they've lost a bit of their confidence. My question last week, with the intensity and the aggression that they haven't shown, would this be a reason for it?
Yeah, look, obviously it's part of the reason. Remember, Corporal Jones always used to say, don't panic, Mr. Mannering. That's what I think about it. Look, I was talking to some Welsh friends of mine, and they said they were in exactly the same situation a couple of weeks ago. If you look at their championship, didn't play particularly well in Paris against France. Were lucky to win that match, courtesy of a George North intercept. Were just as bad, I suppose, or against Italy themselves, exactly the same scoreline. But then they turned all their season around in one match against England. What's to say that Ireland can't get the show back on the road, good performance against France, a win there, and then go to Cardiff and win that match? If they do that, then it'll be difficult. Obviously, you think Wales are going for a Grand Slam would be difficult, but if they do that, you get the confidence back. There's just a few things. It's not quite as simple, Declan, as getting intensity and aggression back. That all comes with winning matches. Certainly they'll be up for the other matches because this was a match they're expected to win. So obviously, in your psyche, they did a bit more damage. That loss to England did a bit more damage mentally than it did physically. I think that Ireland went into that game thinking, okay, we beat them well last year with the Grand Slam champions, and they got walloped and they got bullied. And I think that suddenly took them down a peg or two, and they just haven't been able to recover yet. Conor Murray isn't playing the best rugby of his career. He looks like he's lost a bit of muscle development down one side of his body where he had the neck injury, which is understandable, but his passing isn't quite the same, nor is his box kicking. Johnny Sexton, I think, is letting a bit of frustration get to him. He was clearly frustrated last week. They were looking grumpy. Was it just me? I thought they were looking grumpy because he's got high levels of expectation. He is a true professional, Johnny Sexton, and what he was mouthing when he came off the pitch, I thought he was coming off because he was annoyed at being taken off by Joe Schmidt, but no. What he was annoyed about was the fact that he had passed the ball, I think, to Jacob Stockdale, and he dropped it, and he was just saying, "Catch the effing ball." That's what he was saying. Jeez. That was his lip read. But it's amazing how people get onto the straight away and lip read. So I think there's a bit of frustration going through the team. I think that once Murray and Sexton find their groove again, you've got other players to come back in. I don't know if the back row combination is right. I think that Ireland are missing a really strong ball carrier, and I think teams are just fanning out. It's become very much like rugby league now, and unfortunately the referees aren't refereeing. This is my biggest gripe is the referees are not refereeing the offside line at ruck time. So teams can fan out across the field defensively, encroach beyond the last man's foot, and so it makes it harder and harder and harder each season for the team with the ball, who should be given the most latitude, to actually make the gain line. And rugby is all about gain line, so it has become like rugby league.
God forbid. Jeez. So anyway, basically, in a nutshell, what you would say is,
don't panic! Don't panic!
Don't panic, Mr. Manning.
And we will
while
listen.
panicking.
We will
of course, he always panicked at the same time.
He did.
It's the 6 at 6 podcast with Pat Courtenay and Brent Pope from Radio Nova and Nova.ie.
Hello, Nova. Pat speaking.
Me again. I have another question.
What do you got?
Who is the better clothing line, himself or Tommy Bowe?
Who has the better clothing line, yourself or Tommy Bowe?
That's ridiculous you asked that question. That's not even... we're not even close.
Really, yeah? Would Tommy agree with that?
I'm not going to say who's close.
Which way?
Yes. Tommy. Put it this way, Tommy's is... No, I was going to say Tommy's a lot bigger than mine, but that doesn't sound right. Tommy has a bigger collection than I do. Right. No, I'm just potting around. I have the shirts and the shoes or anything, so I'm not in direct competition in a sense. Okay. For me, I just, I started the brand myself and...
are we suggesting Mr. Bowe did not? Huh?
No, well, he probably did, but I do everything.
Scandal?
I've got shirts coming on this week. I'd go down to the warehouse and pick and pack them and put them into bags. I was out on the road today selling and that, so I do everything from the start of it. Still not making any money on it.
As you keep pointing out to me, fashion and I are total strangers. So I brought Louis in, because he knows a lot more about this than I do. Now, have you compared the two lines of clothing, the Brent Pope brand?
But he's not my market, you see. He's a young guy.
Hold on a second. Louis, I think, will surprise you.
I was pleasantly surprised by both lines. I didn't know what to expect from both lines, but I took a look at it.
Right.
So you mainly market shoes and shirts.
Yeah.
Which I really liked, though. I think Tommy's more... It's a little bit more casual wear. Yeah. So you get a lot of T-shirts, a lot of... nice hiking kind of jackets that you wear outdoors, but yours has a little bit of class in it.
That's why you're quite right. That's why the niche for me is probably for the older, discerning, well-dressed gentlemen like yourself, Pat.
Excuse me? Where did the well-dressed come from?
A scruffy Pat range.
A scruffy Pat range?
No, it's more for. I just wanted guys of a certain age to still look good, and I think that's happening now because. Years ago, men, I suppose, in their 40s or 50s, 60s, didn't, you only had a choice of a couple of pair of shoes and different choice of shirts and that now. So that's why I bought the range out. And you're right, Tommy's saleability is that High Kings brand is huge.
What's High Kings?
It's like a young brand like Superdry, isn't it?
Yes. XV High Kings.
Okay.
He models for. We've put a poll up to see.
You did not, did
who
you?
we prefer. Yes. Now, so far, it's only early days yet. I'll let you know by the end of the. I'll let you know at the end of the show.
Come on, oldies, vote for me.
Right,
Absolutely, cast your vote in.
Cast your vote for Pope.
How do we do this?
So go on to our Instagram story and I have one up there. And if you think of any good puns or names for either of our models, like Tommy Hillflanker or something.
Tommy Hillflanker, I love it.
That's good. Well done, Tommy Hillflanker.
I think we need to embrace those kind of things.
It's the 6 at 6 podcast with Pat Courtenay and Brent Pope from Radio Nova and Nova.ie.
I went to an incredible gig last night. I'll tell you about it a little bit afterwards. Tell me this, Brent. You're here how long now?
30. Oh, coming up 30 years nearly.
Would it really be? I have the biggest problem with trying to get... No, it's good.
Ointment.
No.
Oh, okay.
Brent, I took the tablets for that. Jesus, calamine lotion. Now, I have the biggest problem getting people from the other end of the world to understand Father Jack. Father Ted.
What do you mean, from New Zealand or Australia?
Yeah, either or. The reason I mention this is that today's the anniversary of Frank Kelly, who was Father Jack, died 3 years ago. And on the same day in 98, Dermot Morgan died.
Yeah.
It just made me think, and I've got a lovely clip here.
Popular.
Do you find... What about you? Be honest now. Yep. Do you find Father Ted funny? Because I just think it's like everybody. You do.
But it was very popular in New Zealand. Very popular.
Why then is all the Kiwis and the Australians that I meet here just don't get it?
But they used to. Like, I know from my own family. Like, my whole family used to love Father Ted. It was become sort of iconic over in New Zealand. Not so. I don't know whether or not I suppose it would have helped being over here for so long and getting a bit of that Irish humour, I suppose, rubs off. But no, I never found that. I found
think
people
it's universal, though. I think Father Ted
is brilliant.
I mean, the Mickey take of the Catholic Church is obvious.
When they had the Eurovision one, when the My Little Pony or something.
My Lovely Horse.
Was that what it's called?
Yes.
My Lovely Horse.
My Lovely Horse. That was a good song.
That was brilliant.
Did you ever hear this? But Father Jack sobered up once.
It looks like the last of the alcohol has left his system. I think he might actually be sober. Is that it, Father? Are you seeing things as they really are at last?
Oh, my God!
Yes, that's it, all right. I suppose sobriety for Father Jack must be sort of like taking some mad hallucinogenic.
Where are the other two?
The other two? Ah, I see. The old vision is back to normal. No, there's just the two of us, Father.
And what do you two do, then?
We're priests.
What? Priests? Don't tell me I'm still on that feckin' island!
Well, yes, Father. How do you feel? Must be great to be sober every once in a while, or even every 12 years.
Cheer!
Well done, Father.
Curtains!
Yes, that's right.
Floor!
All coming back to you, is it, Father?
Gobshite!
See, look, one of the things I think that Dermot was always thinking, like radio, you don't always need the pictures.
No, you don't. Was it Brendan? Who played the aggressive priest? Brendan Grace, was it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I used to love that
I can't remember his name. I can't remember his name. Somebody will.
I used to like that.
There are some things you wouldn't get away with now.
Oh, you wouldn't.
Like the one that Graham Norton played, and the youth club in the caravan.
Was Graham Norton and
oh yeah, absolutely. He had a terrible time here trying to get a foothold, in the entertainment industry, which is why he went off to England and has far better guests than Ryan Tuberty can ever shake a stick at. But
oh, he's brilliant.
He is. He gets them all.
It's the 6 at 6 podcast with Pat Courtenay and Brent Pope from Radio Nova and Nova.ie.
I went to this gig last night. There's a building it's an amazing building. Mainly it's businesses, I think, but there are conference facilities and all that in it. And it's built slap bang on where Windmill Lane Studios used to be. You know, the original where U2 did their first 3 albums and blah, blah, blah. There's even the Dockers Bar in it. Do you remember the Dockers Bar? Yeah,
I do.
Of course you do. You hear about it. And this building, this amazing building, is put up straight over the top of it. And it's called Windmill Quarter. It's at number 2 Windmill Lane, literally. I think it's number 2. You can't miss it anyway. And last night they unveiled the Walk of Fame, which is vinyl.
Tell me. Oh, not me.
No, you're not there. You're not there because you can't sing and stuff. You know. Well, okay, you can. Yeah, you're not bad,
really. But anyway,
quite as
carry
well
on.
As the Walk of Fame is all these old vinyl copies and stuff that were actually recorded in the original Windmill Lane. And last night, the launch, I got invited. I never get invited to this stuff because I don't dress well enough.
Exactly. Well, we'll sort that out.
Okay. And Hot House Flowers played.
But they're a brilliant band.
Oh, you forget
how good they
are. And then you see Liam and Wainley. He's a magician. He has you in the palm of his hand. It was brilliant. But we're all invited because it was the launch of Windmill Live. Hot Press has got involved with this, and these are free gigs that we can all go to. So what you need to do is
go.
Well, yeah, but you got to know when they are and who's playing. So you have to keep your ear on me, and I'll keep you up to date because these things are going to be amazing, like free gigs. Who's going to say no?
I also, in a bit of a rock, I went to the premiere the other night of a movie, Foolish Heart or whatever, and the lead singer of The Stunning, I don't know, I forget his name. He played the lead play about the jazz trumpeter Chet Baker, but he was amazing in it. He was amazing. Who was a legendary jazz trumpeter who died was a heroin addict or something, and he died a rather sad and lonely life in Amsterdam. But the acting it was incredible.
So it would have been one of the Wall brothers. Was it Joe?
Yeah,
was it Joe? What did he have to do with it?
He did. He was the lead actor in it, and he was amazing. He was amazing as a sort of a debutant in a kind of a leading role. Right. He really was fantastic, and it was a situation he had to do a lot of the singing. He had to learn the hand movements of the trumpet and that. So
because he wouldn't be a brass player.
I loved going to those things, Pat, and I came straight back, and I didn't know a lot about Chet Baker, and I went straight on the YouTube to find out more about the character he was playing. But I'd have to say, yes, it was.
What's it called? Foolish Heart.
Foolish Heart. Yeah, it's.
Let me have a look. Let me have a quick.
Look, because I went with a couple of friends who were massive fans of The Stunning, and but really hats off to him. I think he did a fantastic job. It was, brilliant.
Foolish Heart. All I'm getting is the Steve Perry song.
Yeah, it was. What did you say the brothers were? It was
the Wall brothers.
Yeah, it was. Yes, it was one of those.
Foolish
Steve,
Heart.
is it? Steve Wall.
Steve Wall.
Yeah,
Steve Wall. There's Steve and Joe.
Apologies, Steve Wall.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, Mary Jane travels to Connecticut to visit her old friend Eloise, whom she hasn't seen for 7 years. Does that sound like it?
No. This is a new.
This is a new one.
This is a kind of dark movie about the last, I think, few years of Chet Baker's life, which was for someone so talented. It was kind of he was a drug addict. They don't know how he died, whether or not he took his own life, whether he fell out the window, whether he was pushed or whatever. Jesus. So there's a little bit of mystery around it. It's a reasonably dark movie, but it was just the acting.
You were pretty impressed.
Really impressed.
Well, I'm glad you weren't watching the other one because it's a 1949 chick flick. Hold on for
I'm not that old.
I was going to say, hold on for the perennial opening.
It's the 6 at 6 podcast with Pat Courtenay and Brent Pope from Radio Nova and Nova.ie.
The 6 at 6. Thanks to Honda, the all-new Honda CR-V. Go to Honda.ie to have a look. Steve Winwood, roll with it, and he's opening for a Steely Dan probably in about maybe an hour or so. He is Mr. Opening Act, but he doesn't mind.
It's interesting. I think there's something to be said for both. And then, of course, before that, I was out on the Tom Petty tour, which was a success. But I think it was a sort of, I think it worked in conjunction with my shows. I wouldn't like to think that was the only thing I was doing. I still like the idea of doing my shows as well. So I think it sort of broadens the view of my music, I should think.
Steve Winwood talking about being Mr. Opening Act. By the way, you know, the two of us were struggling to remember the name of the character, the aggressive priest that Brendan Grace played in Father Ted. It was, thank you, Barry, it was Father Finton Stack.
That's right.
There you go. There you go. Now, there was a certain amount of controversy earlier on when Donica asked, which is the better fashion line? Is it Brent's line of shirts and shoes, or is it Tommy Bowe's line? And Louis, who knows far more about this than I ever would, has looked into it.
Oh, I know.
And Louis...
I feel it coming.
Well, we'll see.
And Louis, turn the other way.
Well, Louis said that there's a certain amount of kind of that loungewear thing going on, right?
You're making me sound like a fashion expert.
Well, yeah,
I'm definitely not.
Well, neither you know me. I'm out.
Come on, put me out of my misery. Hit me with it. Hit me with it.
Yeah, Louis set up a poll. Whose stuff is better? Is it Brent Pope's or is it Tommy Bowe's?
Well, I actually came in bearing good news for Brent. Because it was 60-40 in Brent's favour.
Yes!
Now it's gone back to 50-50. So it's down to the wire now.
Eat that, Tommy Bowe.
And he's actually in the middle of a fashion shoot today at the moment.
Tommy Bowe.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, Brent's not.
So you're
I'm at a disadvantage.
I'm dropping you to 45 on the foot of that one, man. I'm dropping you to 45.
Well, we wish him well.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Come on, pick me up. Couple more percent, 50-50 now. That's no good. 60-40.
We want a clear winner. You need a clear winner.
You need a clear winner.
We need a clear winner now.
Come on,
we're not satisfied with that.
Come on, the over 40s. Start voting. The over 50s. Few from
anyone.
The over 60s.
You take anyone at this stage.
I'll take 70s, 58.
Yeah. Anyone who remembers a rotary phone.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you, Louis.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much.
Next time you come in, I want the good news.
See you next week. I hope.
Six Nations, 2 Kiwis. This has been the 6 at 6 podcast with Brent Pope and Pat Courtenay. Brought to you by the all-new Honda CR-V Hybrid. Honda.ie. Join us next week for another podcast or catch the 6 at 6 live Thursday at 6 p.m. on Radio Nova and Nova.ie. Seriously
addictive.
Radio Nova.